Hey people, I just wanted to do a video after seeing, or I watch a lot of videos from Mr. Griffin on YouTube, and I just wanted to do this short video on how to notarize because he always talks about you need to know how to notarize. So I wanted to share, I'm in California, so this is specific to California. If you're in another state, obviously you'll need to look up your state laws and regulations on how to notarize specifically for your state. So I'm going to be talking about specifically in California. But this is what I do when I deal with general notary work. For example, somebody comes to me and they say, hey, I need this document notarized. I just happen to have a couple documents here that I printed out. And one in particular that's pretty common that I get is they want a birth certificate. So they'll bring in a form like this. Okay, so they have to have that all filled out, and you'll notice down there's the certificate. It's an acknowledgement. Okay, and if you notice on these particular documents, they aren't formatted like the Secretary of State likes. So if you look at the loose certificate, you'll look at this and it says, okay, here's the disclaimer box and the venue, and then you'll have the date and your name, and you'll put the signer's name in there, and then you'll stamp down here and sign here. You stamp here, sign there. And the important thing to know is I'm really a stickler for that. So I'll get a form from a county that will look like this. Okay, this is Alameda County. And they put the box way over here, and it's not above the venue like it's supposed to be. Okay, so this kind of thing, you could be a stickler and do the way it shows in this handbook, or you and put a loose certificate, or you can just do that and not be a good notary. No, I shouldn't say that, but the form, if the form's not correct, I don't like to use that. I like to use a loose certificate for that. So that's just one thing that I like to do to check to make sure the certificate is worded properly, first off, and second is if it's formatted correctly the way the Secretary of State likes it or how they have it in their handbook. Okay. So let's just say I get this, it's all filled out. I make sure it's correct. Okay. I get their ID. Okay. So the first thing I do is I ask them, okay, I need your ID and the document. So while they're stumbling around trying to get their ID out, I'll look at the document, see what kind of document it is, check for notarial verbiage. If there's nothing there, let's just say it's just a handwritten note or something that they want notarized. Then I'll say, okay, you need to pick between an acknowledgement and a jurat. So in California, those are the two options that are specific or common notarial acts. Okay, I shouldn't say they're the only ones because they aren't, but those are the ones we deal with the most. And so I'll say, okay, pick one, and I'll explain what the difference is between those notarial acts are. So they pick one. Okay, so in this case, we're going to say acknowledgement because I just showed you that acknowledgement. So acknowledgement. Okay, so I just went over this briefly, and I'm going to go through it in detail. So you're going to, this is from the NNA. You can get these. This comes in a pad. It's there. It won't fly away in the wind. It's great. You can print your own if you want to. I like to buy these. They're cheap, and I don't have to worry about, if I'm in a windy area, chasing acknowledgements around because they won't blow away until I rip it off. Okay. So first thing, we have the county. So we're going to put the county we're sitting in or we're standing in. Okay, so I'm in Contra Costa County, which is a large county, but I'm in a unique area where if I drive 30 minutes in most directions, I'm going to be in a different county. So that would be Sacramento, Solano, San Joaquin, or Alameda County, besides Contra Costa. So that's a lot of counties. So it's very important to know your surrounding area, know what counties are around your area. If you're in an area that covers, you can go to different counties pretty easily. If you're not, if you're in the middle of your county and you don't have to worry about that, great. Okay. Contra Costa County is a huge county, and I can drive for an hour west and still be in Contra Costa County. Okay. But if I drive, like I said, the other directions, I'm going to be in a different county. So that's the important thing. Know what county you're in, put the right county. Then you're going to put your name with your title. I have a stamp made up with my name and comma title, Notary Public. Okay. You can pre-stamp those or pre-fill that in and have that ready to go. So you don't have to do it when you're standing in front of the person. But for the most part, I have these blank and I fill them in right while I'm standing in front of the person, because that's what you need to do. As far as you need to fill in their name, you're going to have to stamp it and sign it in their presence. Okay. That's the way it's supposed to happen. And obviously you don't want to pre-fill the county unless you keep a folder of different counties, if you're going to pre-fill that information in and have it ready to go. Okay. So you fill in your name, the date, okay, your name, comma, Notary Public, and then the signer's name. So the date, the way I date these, I date the day in number and then the month using letters. So it's June right now. So I put June, Jun, or June. And then I put the full 4-digit year. Okay. Some people do it the other way. I would not recommend putting just numbers because it can be confusing, especially the way things are happening now, where there's some people that write day, month, year in numbers, and you don't know if it's supposed to be month, day, year. So that's the reason I date it with the day in numerical numbers, the month with letters, and then the year with numerical numbers. I guess numerical means numbers, but anyway, you get the point. Okay, then you sign and you stamp, and you're going to have your stamp. This one's from the NNA. So you take your stamp, make sure it's inked up and ready to go. So what I would suggest is you're on a flat surface and you stamp your stamp. Okay. And if you're on a flat surface, you're going to get a good impression. Okay. If you're not going to get a good impression, and that can cause issues for you. Okay. So that's important to do correctly. Okay. If you miss stamp or it's messed up, there's two options. If it's on the document, you can try and fit another stamp in there, cross out the bad stamp and initial. Or if you're putting a loose certificate on there, you're going to just tear off and get a new loose certificate, refill out everything and correct it. I wouldn't have a loose certificate and stamp more than once on that certificate. Okay. Then after you complete that part, so that the person signed, you got their ID, you looked at the document, you filled out the acknowledgement information, you made sure that the person understood what they were signing, they told you the document's complete, they acknowledge that they signed the document, or they're, willing to sign the document. They understand what it is. They're doing it under their own free will. You got the acknowledgement filled out and stamped, ready to go. You staple that. If it's a loose certificate, to the document, it's important that you staple it. Okay. This is the reason why, because if they take that document to the Secretary of State to get an apostille put on it, the Secretary of State will not accept that document because it is not stapled. If the loose certificate and the document are not stapled together, they consider that two documents. It's not one document. So the staple makes it one document. Okay. And they will actually they will not staple the document together. They will send it back to you. Okay. After you get that done, you're going to fill out your journal. Okay. So you get your journal, and some people do this in the beginning. I do it in the end. Okay. And the reason why I do it in the end is because if something goes wrong with the notarization or whatever, you don't have to void out the lines in your journal. Okay. So you fill out your line. I'm not going to go through how to fill out your journal, but you're going to fill out your line in there and have them sign and get a thumbprint if a thumbprint is required. Okay. For general notary work, what I do is I always get a thumbprint no matter what, because I don't know what kind of document it is. I'm not going to study the document other than I can read the title. I mean, in this case, I just showed you the birth certificate. I generally don't need a thumbprint for that document, but I get it anyway. Okay. Cause I deal with the public, and then, that I don't know. I just want to cover my bases. Okay. So I get a thumbprint here in California. You need to get thumbprints for those documents. And that's what I do. And that's how you do an acknowledgement notarization. Now, if it's a jurat, same process, except you have to give an oath to the person. Something like, do you swear under penalty of perjury that this document that you just signed is true to the best of your knowledge, or something like that. And you can have them raise the right hand if you want. It's not required by law. If you want to be official, you can do that. But that's what you do for a jurat. And then you have to use specific language for a jurat. So if you're getting a document from out of state, like I received one yesterday from Georgia, I told the lady I cannot use this language. It has to be California specific. So what I did was I wrote out the jurat loose certificate. I stapled it to her document, gave her the oath, not specifically in that order, but just, I did it. I gave her the oath and then stapled the loose certificate there, filled out the journal, had her sign it and thumbprint, and I was done, and collected her money at the end of the process. And that's the whole thing on how to notarize. And that's general notary work. If you're doing loan signings, it's going to be the same thing, just different. Just want to know different time, I got distracted, but I'm confused. Anyway, loan signings, it's the same thing. It's just you have to do it on more documents, and depending on the lender, depends on if you have to do more acknowledgments versus jurats. That's it for today. I hope it was helpful. If it wasn't helpful, you can leave a comment and say you need more information. I'll be happy to help. I want you to check out Mr. Griffin's channel. I will put a link in the description below. He has a wealth of knowledge, and his wife is awesome. And I just putting a shout out to him and his wife. They are very, very helpful. I haven't been a notary for that long, and I learn from them all the time, and they are awesome. So thanks and have a great day.